Good day and God bless you. Welcome to the Bible reading in chronological order. Just such a privilege to have you with us. We thank the Lord for each of you. I pray that the Lord would bless you even as we would go through His Word together in this overview and in the reading of the Word of the Lord. May He give us insight and wisdom as we go through His Word together. Today we're busy in the book of Haggai, and we're going to be going through the entire book, which is merely 2 chapters, but 2 amazing and beautiful chapters that really is going to speak to your heart if you haven't gone through this before. We're going to look at an overview quickly, and we see that this book was written by the prophet Haggai in approximately the year 520 BC. And this book takes place at a time in which the temple was supposed to be rebuilt at the allowance and decree of Cyrus, the king of Babylon. Now, Haggai is often referred to as the prophet of the temple, and his name, Haggai, actually means feast or solemnity. And this is so apt for the message that he brings to the people. Now, at this time in history, any Israelite was allowed to go back to Jerusalem and build their lives and their worship in the land of promise. And so many did return to Jerusalem, but many remained in the land of captivity. Now, because this is a 2-chapter book, I'm not going to give the structure or the themes of the book, but rather look at a breakdown or an overview of the individual chapters. So when we get into chapter 1, we see the opening chapter of the book of Haggai is a stern rebuke to the people who have returned to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple and their lives, and have been put off by those who have come to frustrate them in this mission. We read of that in the book of Ezra. Now, you would think that these people are in the right place as the Lord has given them the freedom from their captivity and they return home even though many remain behind. And it is at the right time as well, because the Lord had only proclaimed their captivity for 70 years. So why are they being rebuked? Now, when we read the passage, we can gauge the apathy of the people and that they were focused on building their own houses and land instead of focusing on the building of the temple. We can actually see a deep parallel in this, in that we often want to revive ourselves and rebuild our lives, but we focus on the carnal first and the spiritual second. The prophet Haggai shows us the folly in this type of thinking. And so he incites them to build the house of the Lord with vigor and renewed zeal, and promises the help of the Lord to his people in everything if they would do this first with their might. But if they continue to focus on their own houses instead of focusing on the building of the temple first, the Lord will continue to reward them with barrenness and drought. And so the people were pricked in their hearts, and they began to work on the house of the Lord. And then we get to chapter 2, in which the prophet encourages the people to work and promises great glory in the temple of the Lord once again. Now, the people were very disheartened because they saw the modesty of this temple in comparison to the temple of Solomon, and it almost demoralized them to think that this was all that they could offer. Now, we shouldn't be deceived into thinking that this was not a grand temple. It was actually very grand, but not at all to the extent of the temple that King Solomon built. The prophet then tells the people that their sins have actually hindered the work of the building of the temple, and gives them a parable where he shows them that if they are unclean, surely the thing that they touch will be unclean as well. How can they then live unworthily and handle the things of God? Now, this rebuke transcends time and culture and space and should prick us in our hearts today. How can we handle the Word of God and the things of God with unclean hands and hearts? This actually is just such a beautiful parallel, such a beautiful type, but one that should really prick us. The chapter and the book concludes with references to the millennial kingdom in its glory and splendor, taking from the imagery of the book of Zechariah and the book of Revelation. We're going to leave it here for today. I pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. May he give you peace. God bless you as you enjoy the reading of the word today.
Haggai, chapter 1. In the 2nd year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Josedech, the high priest, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, The time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Now therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, Consider your ways. Ye have sown much, and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Consider your ways. Go up to the mountain, and bring wood, and build the house. And I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. Ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith the Lord of hosts? Because of mine house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. And I called for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. Then Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua the son of Josedech, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of the Lord their God, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as the Lord their God had sent him. And the people did fear before the Lord. Then spake Haggai the Lord's messenger in the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith the Lord. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua the son of Josedech, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people. And they came and did work in the house of the Lord of hosts their God, in the 24th day of the 6th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the king. Chapter 2. In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, Speak now to Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Josedech, the high priest, and to the residue of the people, saying, Who is left among you that saw this house in her first glory? And how do ye see it now? Is it not in your eyes, in comparison of it, as nothing? Yet now be strong, O Zerubbabel, saith the Lord, and be strong, O Joshua son of Josedech, the high priest, and be strong, all ye people of the land, saith the Lord, and work. For I am with you, saith the Lord of hosts. According to the word that I covenanted with you when ye came out of Egypt, so my spirit remaineth among you. Fear ye not. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yet once, it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land, and I will shake all nations, and the desire of all nations shall come, and I will fill this house with glory, saith the Lord of hosts. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, saith the Lord of hosts. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former, saith the Lord of hosts. And in this place will I give peace, saith the Lord of hosts. In the 24th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Ask now the priests concerning the law, saying, If one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt do touch bread or pottage or wine or oil or any meat, shall it be holy? And the priests answered and said, No. Then said Haggai, If one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the priests answered and said, It shall be unclean. Then answered Haggai and said, So is this people, and so is this nation before me, saith the Lord. And so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean. And now I pray you, consider from this day and upward, from before a stone was laid upon a stone in the temple of the Lord, since those days were, when one came to an heap of 20 measures, there were but 10. When one came to the press vat, or to draw out 50 vessels out of the press, there were but 20. I smote you with blasting and with mildew and with hail in all the labors of your hands. Yet ye turned not to me, saith the Lord. Consider now from this day and upward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of the Lord's temple was laid, consider it. Is the seed yet in the barn? Yea, as yet the vine and the fig tree and the pomegranate and the olive tree hath not brought forth. From this day will I bless you. And again the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 24th day of the month, saying, Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth, and I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, and I will overthrow the chariots, and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, will I take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shealtiel, saith the Lord, and will make thee as a signet, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord of hosts. The end of Haggai.